Hi, this is Jenn Iacopucci, a member of the Circuit Breaker team, and I'm going to walk you through the training module of Applying Collaborative Cumulative Credit. In this training, I'm going to go over what is a collaborative cumulative credit, how to apply collaborative cumulative credit, and I'm going to show you how to do that in the claim system. So what is a collaborative cumulative credit? If you're a member of a collaborative, collaboratives are required to only carry over a certain amount of surplus funds every fiscal year. Once they exceed this level, which on this slide says is 25% of the previous fiscal year, the board takes a vote and they decide if they will return funds to their member districts. That vote usually happens in late winter, early spring. I'm recording this in May. We have already gathered that information from the collaboratives, and they have informed us of who they have given cumulative credit to their members. We at DESE have taken the step to add this amount to your claim already. So when you open your claim, you may see that you have a cumulative credit balance already added to your claim. That's because we've gotten that information from the collaboratives already. Districts receiving collaborative credit need to apply that credit to their district circuit breaker claim. This is a requirement that must be done when you're doing your claim. Expenses for the collaborative must be applied to the same collaborative that is issuing the credit. So I'm going to use the two examples that are on this slide. Accept has given you credit for tuition. You must apply the credit to an Accept tuition on your claim. We know that some credits are for other expenses, and we know there's one collaborative in the past that has issued their cumulative credit based on transportation. If that's the case, you'll want to reach out to our office or your liaison directly because, as I said, we have applied the full amount of cumulative credit that you receive from your member district. With transportation, if that cumulative credit is based on transportation, there's a calculation that we figure out since the collaboratives could be providing transportation for your in-district students. We try to figure out what amount of that cumulative credit is applicable for out-of-district students only, and then you'd have to apply that credit to transportation expenses only. So you'll want to work with us directly to make sure the correct amount is being carried forward on your claim and that you're applying the credit to the right type of expense. So in the online system, like I mentioned, DESE has already entered the collaborative credit amount to your claim. Most of the districts, except for one, is only a member to one district this year, one collaborative this year that has issued credit. So most of these credits you'll see under collaborative credit, cumulative credit received, number one. If in the future years you receive credit from more than one district because you're a member of more than one, you'd see it under collaborative 2 and collaborative 3, depending on how we've added it. And you have to apply placements to each of the collaboratives that you receive credit from. Like I said, we've added these amounts to your district claim. We're asking that you confirm that those credits are accurate. The collaboratives have reached out to us, but the only way we have to confirm that these amounts are correct is by you looking at them. And if you're not sure, I suggest you reach out to your business office because they'll know. If they're not correct, please reach out to us because we want to rectify the problem as soon as possible. The way that you apply cumulative credit is through the worksheets that are built into the claim system. There's another way, but the worksheets are probably the easiest way. So I'm going to walk you through how to do that. I'm going to walk super quick through navigating to the pages I need to. If I'm going too fast for you, I urge you to go back to our other training modules. There's several other training modules that will go over navigating the claim, what each of the reports means, how to get to a placement, that type of thing. I'm going to go really fast until I get to the worksheet. So I'm opening up my fictional district, Pawnee. And you'll see across the top of the screen, it tells us it's Pawnee. Whoops, hovered too long there. The fiscal year is FY26. There's already expenses added here for instructional and tuition, and there's no expenses added here for transportation. But my cumulative credit balance has been added for $80,000. So a couple things I want to show you real quick. If you click on the menu for claim details, there's some instruction summary, and then it goes into some information about the cumulative credit. The biggest thing I want to show you right here is if you hover over this blue Applying Collaborative Cumulative Credit, you'll be able to open the training that I'm recording now. So if you open up your claim and you're like, oh, I have a cumulative credit balance, I don't know what to do, you'll be able to just go right to this training and it'll walk you through. Scrolling down on the claim details page, this is very high level information about your claim. You'll see in the middle of on the page that the cumulative credit section is here. And DESE has added that Pawnee received collaborative credit from North Shore Education Consortium in the amount of $80,000. So that was the amount received. And there's zero applied currently because we're going to do that together. And it's leaving a balance of $80,000. And I have this red error button, which is basically telling me there's something wrong with your claim. But moving over to the menu 3, validations. And if you watch the other trainings, and if you didn't, I'm going to urge you to do that again. You cannot go to certify and submit if on this validations you have any mistakes. So you'll see here, I have a mistake right off the bat. Cumulative credit balance status. You have to fix that. I have a cumulative credit balance at the top. This should have nothing here. And then there's another validation, which is part of another training, and that's fine. So how do I take care of that cumulative credit balance? I want to go to add students real quick to show you the students that I've added to this claim. We, all of us in the circuit breaker office encourage districts to add students that are below threshold that went to a collaborative that you received credit from. This could be the student only attended a summer program, maybe they only attended a half a year and then moved out. Who knows what the situation could be. If you have students that are below threshold, that would maximize your reimbursement because you're saying, I paid tuition and then I received credit for the student that attended there. That will not affect your reimbursement because since the student's below threshold, you wouldn't be receiving reimbursement for that student to begin with. So I have 2 students here that are below threshold that I've added. The first one you'll see is Neville Longbottom for 20,000. And then I have another student. I need to move my screen, myself. Hold on, I made myself super big. Let me just do view all. And then I'm going to close myself. Okay. Move me up. And the other kiddo is Thomas Riddle right here for 15,000. So I want to apply that 20,000 and that 15,000. That'll be a total of 35,000 that I'm already chipping away from that $80,000 of cumulative credit that I received. So let's go back on how do we do that. So I'm going to go back to the main claim page. I'm back to where the instructions are. I'm not in students. I'm not in anything. And back to the main claim. Over to the top right, next to the sum all button, there's a little caret. This caret opens up multiple reports. All these other reports we go over in other trainings, but the one I want to hone in is cumulative credit worksheet number 1. As I said on the claim details, I'm just going to click back here real quick. We've added the credit to your collaborative number 1. If you had 2 collaboratives, you'd see 1 under 1, 1 under 2. We're focusing on number 1 because that's the credit that we want to start applying placements to. So I'm going to open up this report, cumulative credit worksheet number 1. When I open this, it's a report that's opening on another screen. And that's important because I'm going to go from this report back to the claim when I show you this. So this report is the cumulative credit worksheet. What this is telling you is who was the credit that got added from, in this case, it's North Shore Education Consortium. What was the total? It was $80,000. Now it is going to list all your students' placements, not total It says by placement, that have placements at collaboratives for tuition, and that means any collaborative. In this case, I only have students that are at North Shore Education Consortium. If I had students at different collaboratives, those would show here. I can only apply tuition to the program that matches the program that I received the collaborative from. So just be careful of that when you're working in this worksheet if you have students placed at multiple collaboratives. This is also going to give you a list of placements that are related to transportation. Like I said, we are aware that collaboratives are providing transportation for districts, and they could be going to any out-of-district placement, not just a collaborative. So if you did receive credit based on transportation, we want to make sure you're able to easily access those placements to apply the credit to. The same way we'll be easily accessing the tuition placements. So when I scroll over, I see my total cost for each placement for these students. If they had a cost share, the credit that was applied so far, there's no credit applied, and the total adjusted cost that's left after I applied the credit. In this case, there's none, but we're going to see that get chipped away. So now how do I apply the credit? I want to add them first to Thomas Riddle and Dave Dixon, no, Thomas Riddle and Neville Longbottom, because those are my two students that are below threshold. So at the top of this worksheet, you're going to click this Enable Field Editing button. You're going to go down to this cumulative credit applied, and you're going to click this pencil. Once I do, I want to add the full amount of this credit to this student because he is below threshold. And I'm going to click Save. We could go down the line and do it very simply, but I want to show you how this affects the claim as we go. So this is Thomas Riddle. I'm going to go back on the claim. Like I said, I'm going back and forth here. I'm going to refresh the page because I made a change on one screen, but it doesn't, carry over to the other screen that's been. So I want to make sure I refresh. And we now see the cumulative credit balance is $65,000. It went from 80 to 65 because we've applied $15,000 to Thomas Riddle. Now, going back to the worksheet, I now want to add the $20,000 for Neville Longbottom. I want to click Save. You got to make sure you click Save or it's not going to calculate it. And we've added the 20,000. We see the adjusted cost is 0. We had entered 20. We're adding credit for 20. That leaves 0 for his placement. Going back over to the claim, I'm going to click refresh again. And now we see we have a balance of $45,000. So that leaves me with Dave Dixon. Dave Dixon has an $85,000 placement. There is another way to apply credit. I personally think this is easier because you've added all your students. You can see all the placements in one place, but maybe you're the type of person that works and you want to just do it all as you go. If that's the case, I'm going to show you how to do that. So I'm going to go back over to the claim. I'm going to open up Dave Dixon. Placements that have already been added. There's one placement in here for him for $85,000. I'm going to scroll down to his placement, open that up. And now I'm in the placement details for Dave Dixon. And you'll see he's placed at North Shore Consortium, what the total cost is, what the daily rate and the annual rate is that I entered if there was a cost share. In this case, there's not, and cumulative credit. We're applying this to cumulative credit number 1. And I'm only going to type in 45,000 because that's what's left of my credit that I need to apply placements to. And now I'm going to save. You'll see up at the top here, we started with the total cost of $85,000 for Dave. We applied the credit of $45,000. That leaves $40,000 for Dave. He is now below threshold, but if you have tuition expenses that will bring him over threshold, you could add those and then your reimbursement would be recalculated. You wouldn't receive any reimbursement for the instructional cost, but you would receive reimbursement for the transportation expenses after threshold is met. So this is how I recommend that you apply the credit. And if you have questions on that, please reach out to your liaisons. I'm going to refresh the worksheet. just so that I can show you all the credit applied and what it looks like on the worksheet once it's done. So we have the cumulative credit balance of 80,000. I'm just circling it on the screen here. And then we see the cumulative credit applied is 80,000. And now when we go back to the claim, gotta drill through to get back. We now see the cumulative credit balance is 0. And when I go to my validations, I have a green check mark next to my cumulative credit balance status. So I'm good to go in terms of that piece being ready to submit. When you're going through this, if you have any questions, please reach out to us, and especially reach out to us if the amount of credit we've added does not match what your records show, and if you think you received cumulative credit based on transportation and not tuition. Thank you. Please join us in any of our drop-in sessions, and good luck with your claim.